Welcome to another episode of the Way of BJJ podcast. As always, due to strong language, inappropriate analogies, please do not listen to this around your kids. Now let's get to the podcast. Yo, welcome back to another episode of the Way of BJJ podcast. And I'm Minju.
I'm Tuna.
Right, so as always, make sure you go and follow and subscribe to any kind of channels that we have and share this podcast with all of your jiu-jitsu friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also leave us a 5-star review because that would really help us out.
Yeah.
So keep on creating these awesome contents for you.
Yeah.
So Tuna, there's remember we did an episode that is completely PG, right? That is super appropriate.
Almost PG.
Yeah, and so this way, like kids and stuff can listen to it, right?
You're saying we should do something similar today, right now?
No, I'm just saying. Guess what?
What?
That is by far our least listened to episode.
For real?
I don't know what that tells us.
Yeah.
Like, should we go to the other extreme and be extremely inappropriate, extremely vulgar today?
Or you know what? Maybe it's just psychology, because that's one of my favorite episodes, actually. But I think what happened was when they heard PG, they just like stopped. They're just like, oh. But you know, we're just as intense as it was before. So we'll just trick them. It might be PG, it might not be.
Yeah, so this one, okay, it might be PG or it might be rated R.
Yeah.
Right, we'll
watch
see what
this.
happens.
Fucking watch it now.
Oh no, I already know what this is. Oh man, yeah. So let's the subject matter today. Okay, it's very important because as we keep on emphasizing that we do have a lot of beginners and white belts and people just starting out on their journey of jiu-jitsu, listening to our show, and now with videos, so watching as well. And because of that, today we're going to talk about if you are a beginner or if you're just thinking about how to start your jiu-jitsu journey, then what does it take to go from the couch and onto the mat, and to train in a way that you don't get injured, to train in a way where you don't get burned out, and to manage your overall training load. I think that's important because...
That's a lot of variables that they have to cover there then.
Yeah, exactly. But if you don't start thinking about it, then what's going to happen? What's going to happen? We've seen this a lot, right? Beginners, they go in, they're like, oh, I don't know what to expect. Oh, this is so much fun. I'm going to train every day, twice a day. Oh my God, I'm hurt. Or, oh man, why am I so sore every single day? Then before you know it, you're done. So I think we can cover this topic in coming from different angles.
Yes.
Right? So where do you want to start?
Thanks for the pressure. I'd say the most important thing is, you kind of said it before, it's a good start. They need to find a place that they'll enjoy.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So I guess step one is to find a gym that kind of fits into what you want out of it.
And then there is no right gym for everything. There's like every gym has like different approaches or just different group of people, right? Even philosophy. Even some people are maybe like, my teach is a little bit more to the left wing or to the right wing, whatever that is, wing you want to do. Like, just go with the gym that you would vibe with the most. I think that's the most important thing, right? Because I think jiu-jitsu is art itself, just because of like internet and whatnot. It's actually doing. It's
at least you didn't say whatchamacallit.
Yeah. There's usually the good jiu-jitsu out there. And then we can tell when there's like a McDojo, right? That's the only thing people have to watch out for are McDojos. But other than that, when people have different opinions of running school, there's just their personality. Like how there's many different personality types of people, right?
Right.
So it's just up for you to find your gym that you'll want to be at. I think that's the most important thing. If you don't want to be at there, then no matter how much you like something,
that is true. Because in previous episodes, we also talk about something similar, right? Like you need to know, like, is your goal to be a world champion? Is your goal to be a hobbyist, or do you just want to be able to tell people you train jiu-jitsu and you don't really care about whether you're getting better or not, right? I think all those factor into the type of training environment you want to be looking for, right?
They play a big part too. Like for me, right? Like I was playing a video game and I suck at it, right? That's I want to ask myself.
No, I thought you're good at everything.
No, do I want to be good at this, right? And I'm like, if I want to be good at it, that means I want to play that freaking video game so much more.
Right.
And then that has to be my life. I don't really want that. So when I'm playing that video game, I'm just like, oh, it's just something I have like an hour or two. I'll just lose myself in the story, but I don't have to be the best at it. So maybe some people, I can approach that with jiu-jitsu, but maybe I'm also thinking some people maybe who just want to do jiu-jitsu, they don't want to be the best or be good. They just want to roll and have fun, right?
Right.
And that's okay too. If that's your thing, then it's definitely the place is important. And your first priority then is just safety.
Right.
Protect yourself.
Yeah, and I think that comes back to a couple of things, right? Again, gym culture, and the second thing is how do you manage your training load, right?
Yes.
So let's say if somebody just starting out, right? Do you recommend that? So I guess it depends on. So let's say.
You know, it depends on the person.
Let's talk about our kind of a demographic,
Yeah.
right? So to start, let's say you're not looking to be a world champion. Let's say you're over 40.
Our demographic.
And then let's say you have never trained jiu-jitsu before, and you haven't even been active for the past 20 years because of life or whatever. You're kind of out of shape.
Yes.
But you want to train jiu-jitsu, and then you come in and train with us. Then what would be the recommendation? Like, would you tell them to train every day, or would you tell them to train? Or what is it? What's your advice?
I think the best one is to train as much as possible. That's the only way you can get good at whatever. But then it comes down to what time do you have availability
Okay,
and
so
what you have
the
invested.
training as
So you
much
should-
as possible depends on the context of
Yes.
their schedule.
Yeah. Obviously, I'd want all those dads that have to support their kids
That's true. So they
and their family
so they can
to
pay
drop everything and just train every day.
then they won't be able to pay.
Yeah. Or they won't train because their wife's like, this jiu-jitsu is not working. Before jiu-jitsu, you were able to pay for bills and whatnot. Now that you only want to do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So ideally, you're not going to get good until you train every day. So it depends on what they want.
That is also true, yes.
Then I would at least want them to train. If they train once a week, it's better than none.
Yeah.
But twice would be ideal in that situation.
Right.
Enough so that like you're retaining information instead of like going 1 week and then having to catch up and catch up. Because we go through a lot of different subject matters, right?
Right.
Sometimes, if you go once a week and then we talk to one, you only get like a 10% of it because it takes a whole week to talk about like
Right.
something, right?
Yeah.
And you have to wait till another one.
Yeah. No, that's true. And I think for this demographic in particular, when you commit to training jiu-jitsu, even if it's twice a week, right? There's a difference between commit to training jiu-jitsu and commit to becoming fitter and healthier overall, right? So the reason why I say that is if your commitment is to train jiu-jitsu twice a week and you don't do anything else, you're still eating like crap, right? You don't do any exercises, right? You're drinking, you're sitting at the desk all day long. Guess what? Those two jiu-jitsu sessions in a week is gonna absolutely wreck your body.
Yeah.
For sure, especially at over 40. Yeah, right? So so I would say you can commit to training jiu-jitsu twice a week. That's awesome for somebody over 40 who's starting out, right? But you also have to commit to living a healthier lifestyle, right? You have to start working out. You have to start, going for walks, going for runs. Maybe pick up a different sport, go swimming or something. Stretch out,
Yeah.
right? Clean up your diet. Cut down on your drinking.
That's a lot of
right?
investment then for
Yeah.
40. Can they just go to class and do jiu-jitsu?
But the reason why, I know.
No, I think you're right. I think in the beginning, can I tell you my take on that?
Yeah.
You're absolutely correct. I think, but in the beginning, people will just want to go to class, but they will love jiu-jitsu. And when they love it, they will realize they have to do what you say to keep it sustainable.
Right. So step one, and I think that's a catch-22, right? Because you're right about that too. But when you
Hey,
start,
you want to do jiu-jitsu?
Yeah,
Sure,
but
I'll
when
sign up for first. I need to run every day. Clean up your diet, and then like, F that.
So this is what I'm saying to people who are over 40, right? So if you're just starting out jiu-jitsu when you're over 40, you are already fighting and losing an uphill battle. You should have started like way earlier.
Yeah.
Right? And then there's a reason why at this mature age you're thinking about doing it, right? Maybe it's because of midlife crisis. Maybe it's because you want to, right? You realize that, hey, you know what? I've been squandering my life away. That
Yeah.
I really haven't done anything worth,
Or you're
worth
a
fighting for.
businessman,
Whatever.
and you
right?
realize that the future it's not just going to be about golf when you land your business deals.
Yeah. So whatever the reason might be, there is a very important underlying reason for you to want to take that step at the age of over 40, right? So you're already kind of starting at a place that's more with a disadvantage, right? So it makes sense that hey, you have to catch up. In order for you to catch up, you have to dedicate and commit yourself to making those changes. That's all I'm saying, right? If you started when you're 10, then whatever, then you're naturally gonna be able to kind of gradually, go through the process of training more and start to eat healthier and train.
Well, there's less stuff in life,
right?
that'll keep you from there.
Right. Yeah. So so I think it's a bigger commitment to start jiu-jitsu at this age than people realize. So you have to go in with the right expectations.
Even training too, just organizing that, and then you have to make time, right? Because you have a family and job, career. You have to make time to train, so you might as well do it effectively and efficiently.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why you see people like Mark Zuckerberg or like Tom Hardy, who are, they're like over 40 as well, right? But because because they're successful in other areas, right? So they know that in order for them to be successful in training jiu-jitsu, they have to take the same approach.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
so
same thing for everything in life.
Yeah. So I can tell you that people are like, oh, how come they are, getting their blue belts with, in 1 year, or Tom Hardy going out there and winning tournaments? It's because he knows how to be successful. So he's putting in the work and doing the right things. I can guarantee that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, it's easy to put work on too. They got money.
Or maybe they're just bribing everybody and to take a dive.
No, if I got offered like $1,000 to like fall from like a celebrity, I would rather mess them up and have the bragging
$1,000
rights.
Come on, man.
Do whatever, or whatever they pay. Bragging rights.
You're insulting some billionaires out there, man. Giving you
that's true,
$1,000 to take a dive. Come on.
Well, he's gotta pay a lot of. They're not competing against billionaires.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So how much is your dignity worth? So let's say Mark Zuckerberg comes to you and pays you $1 million to take a dive. Would you do it? How much is it gonna take?
Yeah, $1 million will do it.
Yeah, let's be honest.
I'm not big time anymore. I feel like I'm ripping him off. I'd lose to him, and I just train really hard and win every tournament afterwards. I can because I have $1 million now.
Yeah, man. Because in an ideal world too now, right? Let's say if you're over 40, you're doing jiu-jitsu. Like this is
Ideal. Yeah.
Like in an ideal world, I would be coming to class half an hour early, so I can do some breath work,
Stretching.
get my nervous system into the zone, right? And then I would do my stretching, I'd do my trigger point, I would do my foam rolling, I'd do my mobility, So this way, when the class starts, I'm like in tip-top shape, right? It's gonna take half an hour for me to get to that state. And then during class, I can concentrate, I can absorb all the information. And then when it's time to roll, I'll be able to roll hard. And then after the class is done, guess what? I'm gonna take another half an hour, again, to calm down, right? To get out from that fight or flight state. So this way my body can recover, right? I'm gonna stretch out. I'm gonna do all that. That's the ideal. That's in an ideal world, right?
You're old, senpai.
But does it happen? Does it happen?
No. And you know what? You should do it. I'm prime example of that. I kept rolling like I was like still young, right? I was off for I didn't do anything for 6 months, and then I just went back on like it was nothing.
Yeah.
On my 40s, rolling like I was still in my 20s. And then boom, dislocated shoulder. Right? And it wasn't even like a Kimura or anything. It was just like an underhook, playing butterfly. He just like backed away a little bit, pop, pop.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, there you go. So that whole ideal world situation, guess how often I can make that happen when I train?
0.
No, half of the times.
Really?
Yeah, half of the times actually. So.
Oh yeah, just show up early, put time into it.
Yeah, so I'm proud to say that I'm beginning to find the rhythm and the routine to make that happen. So it does take extra planning.
So it's more of a ritual.
Yeah, you want to make
kids.
that into a ritual, especially when you are starting out, and you are again at a more advanced age.
Yeah.
So
the key thing then you're saying is that we really have to spend time to train and protect your body.
Yes.
That's it. Just from not even big injuries, but just from small, subtle injuries that happen between jiu-jitsu. It sounds so weird, but most of my friends we've hurt are like hamstring and their knees, not from jiu-jitsu, but from getting up after jiu-jitsu. Like we roll, we chill for a bit. You want to go again? Yeah, let's go. But that's the truth.
Yeah.
Sometimes jiu-jitsu, the match itself is safer.
Yeah. So I have
than in
to,
between.
and one person who really motivated me and inspired me to do this, to take this more seriously. I'm gonna give a shout out to one of my training partners over in La Pelle. His name is Damien.
Yeah.
Right. So Damien, I hope you're listening.
Is he old? Sounds like he's an old guy.
He's not even that old.
How old is he?
Right. I think he's in his 30s.
So
right?
much stretching for a 30-year-old?
Yeah. But listen, right? So he would come in half an hour early, and then he would be wearing his rash guard that says yoga for BJJ, right? Then he would actually be there doing all his yoga, breathing, and then you would see him do all the weird mobility stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like the Hickson Gracie stuff, right? He would like every single time he shows up half an hour early, does all the stuff, and then at the end of the class when everybody's just like sitting there like shooting the shit, like what you're talking about, then he was like out in the corner again doing his yoga and doing his stretches.
That's
Yeah.
what I should do more for myself, like more
So-
stretching afterwards.
Yeah, so seeing people like that can that understand the importance and actually made that into a routine and a ritual,
Yeah.
and who does it, I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm older than his, and I can certainly use it. So it gives me a sense of like, hey, I cannot be making excuses. I have to just freaking do it.
How long has he been doing jiu-jitsu for?
Oh, he's good. He's a brown belt, so I'm assuming close to 10 years.
Okay, good. So it takes away the new white belt compensating eagerness. That's what I was like, maybe because it's just new, but if it's brown belt, okay, that's a routine. But if they're just new, they're like, oh, I'm so nervous. I'm gonna add this basic routine before and after every class.
Yeah, he's a very good brown belt actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. So and to keep building on that, then obviously, right, if you want to take it more seriously, then definitely you have to add weight training sessions on top of it too.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah.
So you're saying if a guy that only has 2 weeks free time for jiu-jitsu, but he's gonna put that for jiu-jitsu only, and doesn't have any time for anything else, what should he do then?
I think again it depends on the age, right? I think if
40.
you are
Should he do jiu-jitsu? I only have 2 times a week. I don't have time for anything else. Should I do jiu-jitsu? I can tell him no.
if that's the only thing he wants to do, oh man, that's
Do you
such a-
see what I'm
that's
see where
such
I'm
a
getting
tough
at?
one.
Right?
I know. But first of all, I'm gonna tell that person, because I have been a personal trainer for a long time, recently retired, but that is like the number one excuse we hear. I just don't have the time to do it. Of course you have the time, right? If something is important enough, you'll always make the time to do it, right? So that's the same thing I'm gonna say. Are you actually only able to train, 2 days a week and that's it, and you don't have time to do anything else? So if that's the truth, then there's a couple possibilities. Number one, you're just so bad at time management that you're extremely inefficient with your work, and if that's the case, you have to get better at being efficient, right? Then number two is you're so incompetent at doing what you do that it takes you so much longer than everybody else to do the exact same
Or you could have a
task.
9 to 5
Right.
and then go home to the family.
And which means they have so much time. Yeah, if you have a 9 to 5, that means you can wake up at 5 and do your stretches and do your weightlifting and be able to go get to the
You're
office.
savage, senpai.
by 8
But that's
o'clock.
the truth, though. If you
Yeah.
like something, you'll find time to do it.
Yeah. And then you'll have time to go train jiu-jitsu.
Because there's a lot of people who are busy that do
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, of course, man. Of course.
So it just comes down to them making the decision whether they want to or not.
Yeah, I think that's the same with everything, right? It's like if something is important to you that you want to make it part of your life, then you have to kind of rearrange, your priorities a little bit, right? So one thing that I used to do that I probably should do again is to do like a brain dump that we call it. All right, so we'll be able to. So basically, if you find that you don't have a lot of time. You're like, man, I really want to do certain things, but I just don't have a lot of time. So make a list. Have like 3 different categories, right? Have 3 different categories. So one category would be stuff that I want to do, right? Stuff that I love to do, jiu-jitsu, spend time with family, whatever, right? Second category is like stuff I absolutely do not want to do and I don't have to do, right? Then it might be like, I don't know, might be your job or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It might be a job you're stuck in that you really hate, right? Or it might be like, hey, going to dinner over at your in-laws that you don't want to do, right? And then the third category would be stuff that I don't want to do and I can hire somebody else to do, right? You see where I'm going with this, right? So you have to take a look. You have to make that
See
list.
what you can do
You have to make
yourself,
that. You have
what
to
you
make
have to
that
throw
list.
away,
You have
and
to
what
make
you
that
can
list,
delegate.
right? You have to make that list and say, hey, you know what? This. How can I get rid of the stuff I don't want to do, right? If these are the stuff I hate that I don't want to do and I don't have to do, then
are you
stop
doing
doing
it?
it.
Yeah.
Right? And then it's like, hey, stuff that you can outsource and delegate to somebody else, you know,
What
give
if your
them
wife
away.
is big and then you're not attracted to them anymore, right? Then don't do it. Then
Yeah, be
just
honest. Be honest.
Be honest, and then
Yeah.
and then just let someone else do it.
There you go.
Contract the work to someone else,
Yeah.
right?
And ladies and gentlemen, that's why Tuna is single.
I contracted the work to someone else.
Yeah, so I mean that helped a lot, right? It puts things in perspective. Hey, how do I get rid of stuff I don't want to do? How can I, give the stuff away to other people so I can do more of the stuff I love, right?
I can see next week we're gonna have a comment where I came in here just to improve my jiu-jitsu game, but I found out to do more jiu-jitsu. I need to get my life in order. So thanks to Senpai's advice, now I have a better career.
Oh,
That's actually pretty good.
I know. I thought you were gonna say thanks to Senpai, now I've quit jiu-jitsu.
It was just like, I just wanted to do jiu-jitsu, but to be able to do jiu-jitsu, I needed to add an extra digit to my income.
and now I'm a
I
billionaire,
did.
thank you.
Yeah, it's like he was the best coach, life coach, but I just wanted to learn jiu-jitsu. But that's how it usually works.
Yeah.
People just have all the nicest stuff. That wasn't their goal. Their goal was something else. That was just like what they needed to do to get to their goal.
Yeah, there you go. So I do encourage anybody who are stuck in the mindset where they feel like, hey, I just don't have the time, right? So maybe after you make the list, then you realize that I actually don't have the time, right? And then at least you would know you're not lying to yourself, and then maybe try to find different ways to handle business too.
Train jiu-jitsu if you have time only for 2 weeks, and then when you love it, naturally, you'll just do better. You'll just add more time to go around it. That's the best way.
Yeah.
Another important thing too is if you're older, just spend maybe if you do jiu-jitsu, just spend like an extra day, just like stretching just to catch up or strength.
Yeah.
More for if you're not for like, and it's something I have to do. I'm not an aesthetic kind of guy, but I really just have to get, if not like my aesthetic like big muscles, but my muscles in between.
Ooh, muscles so big.
Just so like I can be functioning and being able to do jiu-jitsu, especially at our age, right?
Yeah.
It's just like all our kind of like neglected joints and subtle muscles is what we just have to watch out for and work up.
Yeah, man.
Like actually put the time into strengthening, the physio exercise, like this kind of stuff. Because we're old.
Yeah. Yeah, because I used to hold the opinion that, hey, doesn't matter how old you are. If you want to train jiu-jitsu, you should just get started, man. Just do it. Just walk into a gym and do it. But I've changed my mind on that, right? Because I think if you don't actually set the right expectations, like, hey, you're 50 years old and you want to start jiu-jitsu, realize and understand the commitment you're making, right? Because otherwise, I guarantee if they're going to go in, they're going to get hurt, and then they're not going to do it. They're going to stop, right?
Yeah.
But the only thing is they're going to stop, and now they have a permanent injury they have to deal with.
Yeah,
right?
I see what you mean. You got to just let them know what they're in.
You have to know, hey, I would love for you to train jiu-jitsu at the age of 50 and starting out, but realize these are the things you have to do, right? You have to stretch more. You have to, lift some weights. You have to understand when you're training how not to just muscle through everything.
So should we add that to our program then? Should we show up half an hour, give those old timers time to stretch and whatever?
I've actually been thinking about that too.
Because we were thinking like we just want to be purely like because we didn't want to do like the like a warm up that's non-jiu-jitsu related, right? We just wanted to focus on because we're also thinking about people's time. We just want as much time in jiu-jitsu. That's it, right? So now, from what you're saying, since especially we're dealing with a lot of older people, and then maybe some of them don't have the time. You know what I mean? Like this is their. Instead of going to the gym, they decide to go do jiu-jitsu.
Right.
Right? Should we add something?
Yeah, you know what? I've been thinking about that too. I think there's, I think what we were doing before is legit, it's good.
It's good.
But it's
our demographic.
But it's focused on getting people to become really good at jiu-jitsu in a shorter time frame. And that involves typically higher intensity training for a prolonged period of time. And that might be a bit much for people who are, starting out in their 40s and 50s. I've been thinking about that too. So maybe what we really should do is, because there are two
Give
things,
them time
two
to-
things we can do, right? So we can have a class where people understand when they come in, it's what we're doing right now. That's lots of jiu-jitsu, lots of specific games and training and everything, and then they know they can fight hard and everything, right? So we have a class that's designated to that. So let's say somebody who's over 50, maybe they only want to do that class once or twice a week.
Yeah, I see.
Right? Because if they do it every day, they know they're not gonna be. They know they're gonna make
It's just not. It's just not. They can't.
They're not gonna make it.
Physically, it's just not doable.
Right? Yeah. So and then we have a different class, right? That's designed more for the stuff that some people say are outdated, such as doing the warm-ups, doing the mobility drills, and then do the shrimps, and also when you drill, do the movement drills, without having to worry about the other person fighting back and you have to fight really hard, right?
And then just give them time to to even do
maybe
basic strength and conditioning stuff that we don't want to do.
Yeah.
Just a simple routine that we know that's going to activate and strengthen their joints. Something.
Yeah. We might even do a separate class.
And then
for
they
that,
can even once a week. They just do that class once a week. That might even be better than none at all, right?
Right.
Because some people they did this is my fitness, or they go work out, and then jiu-jitsu is more fun than working out, right?
Yeah.
So for them, we might as well have a class where they do jiu-jitsu, and then and since it's a workout, add a little bit of because I remember when I first started, we did invest a lot of time in just on our fitness for the first half an hour with Nabil before we even had class start.
Oh man!
And I was so out of shape, but it actually made me into shape.
Remember doing tire tosses and stuff like that?
Yeah, everything. We did everything. We ran and we had a crazy.
We did 1,000 crunches and
stuff
like
and
that.
I hate it when Nabil got us to do this. But you know what? I was and I didn't have when I first started. I was fat. I didn't have time to. I didn't care to do anything. I just wanted to do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. So I think.
So maybe we should add an extra time.
You know what? There's a place for everything, right? Because I'm thinking it doesn't matter what we as coaches feel is the best way to train people. Yeah. The most important thing is, do they want to do it? Right?
That's true too. Maybe they just want jiu-jitsu. They don't want to
Right. So what I'm thinking is maybe what we can do is to have different styles of classes.
Yeah.
And because attendance is gonna determine everything, right? Yeah. So I'm thinking
and see what happens when people show up.
So this is I almost feel like we want to go back to doing a class where there's the traditional warm up, right? And then you actually teach the technique, and the people can drill, at 20%, 30%. And then after class, if they want to roll hard, then they can, right? So I think
we covered the physical
So I think
for them.
I think there are actually merits to that approach.
So we should add maybe 10 minutes, 10 to 15, but instead of it just kind of generic running around warm up, we'll have a specific kind of strength and conditioning warm up for jiu-jitsu since you're a high level trainer, right? And you have a business here of other trainers that's working for you.
And
we can help.
Yeah, I'm a high-level jiu-jitsu guy as well.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, just got my brown belt.
Yeah, no, but so we should
I'm no longer mid.
Because I remember one of the key things about judo when I'm watching this old school judo video, they really do spend a lot of time on developing that judo body where they have their what do you call it? The push-up that they love to do, what do you call it?
I don't know, man. It looked like you were sucking
where their hips are high in the air and you're doing this kind of weird push-ups like that.
The Hindu push-up.
Hindu push-up style, but they really do all the workout to they had their ideal of what a judo guy should be. Should we have something like that?
Yeah, you know what? That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna add more classes that's more specifically and just make sure our members.
Or just add.
We're gonna do it and see if people actually show up to
We can even just start with 15 minutes of just whatever class we're going to take specifically for that, take it away from one of the games, and just make it just you know what? If you go every day and you just do this 15 minutes, it should actually almost almost be a routine. And then with the jiu-jitsu that they did that day, that could be a workout for an old man.
Yeah. And there you go. So we have just created a few new classes here at Way of BJJ. So if you feel like that's something you would like to do and you want to be a part of this, make sure you come in and train with us.
They just witness us make a decision for our school.
Yeah, and I think that's the most important part about being coaches and business owners
Just being able
is to never hold on to a belief and never let go, right? We have to constantly reevaluate,
finding
adapt.
out what our clients want, and then finding out what works for them,
Yeah, because
and
I
then
think
what
the,
doesn't work for them.
Yeah, because I think the approach we're taking with the ecological approach, lots of games, lots of life rounds and
It's
everything.
good.
It's good, but again, for people who are just starting out, over 40, over 50, it might be too much.
Yeah. We were thinking of just like, oh,
We just want people to get good.
really good.
Because we know that's the best way to get
yeah,
good.
which is we still have to do that. We are still going to do that. But
Right.
now we're going to just
we're gonna have different classes for different needs.
Yes.
Right. Because a lot of the, I mean, I'm 44, so I'm starting to feel that way too. Some days I just want to go in and just know that I did some jiu-jitsu. I actually don't want to fight hard. I actually don't want to fight. I feel that way.
Some people like they're like, are we gonna do a lot of drilling? Are we gonna do a lot of drilling today? I'm like, or like games, and so like, I want to get the stuff done drilling, and they're like, yeah, okay, good, because they're like tired of fighting, right? So we got to find their balance, but sometimes we do have to. Not sometimes, and there are times where you have to push them.
Yeah.
I don't care if you don't want to fight.
All right, yeah. So
You
let's
have
do
to.
that. We'll announce it to our members, and we'll have very specific sessions for different needs, and then let's see what the attendance is like. Yeah.
Yeah, and excited to talk about this on maybe like 4 or 5 podcasts from now and see
Yeah, we'll let you guys
how this turned
know.
out.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, and just like that, if you're a beginner thinking to start jiu-jitsu, go ahead, find a place and start. But just understand that depending on how old you are, how out of shape you are, it might be a bigger commitment than you realize. But do it right the
It's so
first
worth
time.
it.
Yes, so worth it.
It's the best.
Yeah, and just like that, we'll talk to you guys next time.